Yo, what's good everybody? Just for Kicks here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have the Louis Vuitton LV Skate Shoe. Let's go ahead and check them out. Alright fam, so this pair comes from Lulu Kicks. Gonna go ahead and put their information right here on the screen so you can go ahead and check them out. First things first, we have the box. Definitely a normal looking box. Bright orange with Louis Vuitton on top in kind of like a black bold lettering. Nothing else on anywhere. You do have this little slide out pulley and it slides out the box. And on the inside, you're met with these really nice little dust bags, both saying Louis Vuitton with the blue top. You also have on one of the shoes this little marker that says Louis Vuitton right there through the lace. You're also met with this, what I want to say is probably a receipt for Louis Vuitton, the shoes and all that fun stuff. And then you also have the cool little Louis Vuitton booklet. Getting into the actual shoes, these things are pretty damn chunky. So here towards the top, you have this padded white kind of, I'm not really sure, it might be some kind of mesh. It looks more like a polyester kind of fabric over it. You have this kind of pale tan beige right here for the nubuck. That's also back here towards the back, as well as down here towards the midsole. You have white leather all throughout in this little diagram and design. You can see it's down the lace guard, a little bit around the toe box and around the whole design here with little white mesh sticking out. You have this little, it's like a flower or a star, I'm not really sure. It's the Louis Vuitton kind of logo that they've been using, and that is in that beige colorway as well. Eyelet, you can see, is just a nice clean white. Midsole, you have this little heel counter going on top of it, but then you can see the actual midsole itself is nice and white. It's cut out. It has little cutouts of the logo for Louis Vuitton in beige. Then it goes back to this cutout part in white and beige, back to white. You can see around the toe box, you have this really nice kind of rubber or plastic around the toe box. You can see it's very shiny. It's got that cool sheen to it. Outsole, we're met with a really cool pattern of white all throughout. Then you have the beige cutouts. It says Vuitton right there in white. Then you have the beige cutout right here with all kinds of little, almost like a mandala. And it has the little logo right there as well. You can see right here, it actually says made in Italy. And then you have this cutout cream part. You can see the toe box right there. Kind of like Jordan has stars. These have the little Louis Vuitton logo all throughout. Going to the toe box, you have that nice white leather throughout, and you can see the bits of the white mesh sticking through. You can see it says Vuitton right there in kind of like a cool retro classic bubble letters. You can see the lace guards right here have these really thick white loops to catch the laces. Now normally I do put the laces in tucked into the shoe, makes it look a little neater, but I wanted to emphasize how huge these laces are. Kind of reminds you of the Travis Scott SB laces, but much thicker. Not as thick as Lanvin laces, but still pretty thick. And you can see it kind of goes through. White mesh tongue under the tongue at the top with the tongue tag over it, because you could still see this really thick mesh white. You have this little piece right here in kind of like a beige tan colorway. You can see the LV logo saying Vuitton right there in kind of like a retro kind of font once again. Inside of the shoe, you can see you have a really puffy design right here in beige for the sock liner. You can see that tongue is super puffy. See, it says GO 120212. I'm assuming that's the shoe size. Insole, you can see, hopefully on camera, says Louis Vuitton with the trademark symbol right there, made in Italy, and then it has the actual Louis Vuitton logo right there. Backside of the shoe, probably one of my favorite parts. You still have all the cool cream pieces hitting, as well as that nubuck right here in beige. You have the heel tab, which is really cool, with the LV Louis Vuitton logo right there in white. But I really love this little badge or emblem saying 1854. So it's since 1854 and Vuitton, and that kind of retro bubble logos once again. Medial side to finish it all off, you still have pretty much the same thing. You don't have the logos right here towards the midsole, but you still have the cool cutouts and stuff like that, as well as the heel counter. You still have the white leather going all through. You don't have a star this time, you just have the empty white mesh. Around the toe box, you still have that rubber or plastic that's pretty shiny and sheeny to it, you can see. And then you still have the cutouts of the beige nubuck here, as well as here, leading up to what I still want to say is a satin kind of material in white. All right, fam. So me personally, I grew up skateboarding. Pretty much anything with wheels, actually. Bikes, scooters, Heelys, rollerblades, anything with wheels. I loved getting into it, falling down, getting hurt, learning new tricks, all kinds of fun stuff. That's pretty much all I did. I was, before cell phones, like as kids, you know, have a cell phone now, but as kids, we didn't have cell phones like that. So we were outside all the time, and that's all I did from sun up to sundown. I was just outside with friends around the neighborhood. I lived in an apartment complex, so there's plenty of other kids. We had little skate groups and stuff like that, just super fun. We wore really thick shoes back in the day that hopefully didn't have too many holes in them by the time we were done skating our brand new pairs. We wore Audios, Globes, Jxnnys, DVS, you name it. There was just so many sneakers back then that were this chunky style, and that's definitely what these remind me of. Now you have all kinds of cool little materials in white and beige and off-white kind of cream. You have this cool plastic piece right here. If you skated this, I would say that this would probably hold up pretty well, as opposed to just the canvas Vans that a lot of us also wore skateboarding. You have the really cool logo here. You have the cool logos here towards the heel. You have this really cool old school kind of retro font saying 1829, I want to say. Oh, I'm sorry, 1854. I was going to say that's really old. For Vuitton right there, it's a really cool kind of like retro fitting. The heel is really thick in the back. The actual tongue is what we see on a lot of SBs these days, but more of a dramatic version of that. And it's something that we definitely had back in the day. We had the huge tongues and our jeans tucked into it, so when we skated, we could see the tongues. And I don't know, it just made us, at least me, feel like I could skate better if I saw the tongue, not with my jeans draped over it. The huge laces are a really cool little vibe. It definitely reminds me specifically, I think, of DVS is the first brand shoe that comes to me. We also had Osiris's and stuff that were pretty big shoes that you also see these days. Again, I just think it is a really cool new luxury feel to kind of like an old school vibe, just very reminiscent, and it's just a really cool sneaker. The colorway itself is really nice. I wear this cream shirt all the time, so I think this would go perfectly with that. But yeah, I think these are really dope, and I'm definitely gonna have to get these on foot and see how funny they're going to make me feel, just because I definitely don't skateboard anymore. I'm 30 years old, and honestly, I'd probably bust my ass if I got on the board, but these, at least I could try to feel like a, new version of a skater like I was back then. All right, guys, just like always, I really appreciate you coming to the channel and hanging out for a bit. Till next time, I'm Dustin for Kicks. Peace.